3 ghosts, and a little brown dog. A sermon by Pastor Manuel Laproig. First published in the journal Proof of Concept or Get the Fuck Out, Volume 0x10. Rise, neighbors, and in the tradition of the season, let's have a conversation with the spirits of the past, the present, and the future. We will head to a disreputable place, a place of controversy where, according to the best moral authorities, irresponsible people do foul things for fun. A place of scandalous, wholesale wickedness that must be stopped. Yes, neighbors, we are heading to an anatomical theatre to observe its grim denizens at their grisly pastime. While some dissect carcasses, the rest watch from rows of seats. They call it learning and finding things out, even though most what meets the eye looks merely like breaking things apart. They say they are making things better, even curing diseases. Though there are highly titled authorities with certified diplomas and ethically approved methodologies who make it their business to improve things holistically, without all this disconcerting breaking and cutting things off. Truly, if this doesn't beg the question of, how is this allowed, then what does? There was a time, neighbors, when autonomy didn't mean trying to guess how things function by dissecting a specimen. When Andreas Vesalius published his classic Human Autonomy Atlas, with its absolute priority of dissecting for learning what was and what wasn't true about the human body, his fixation on biological disassembly was a scandal. A proper anatomy book was understood to include Aristotle's 4 humours and a fair bit of astrology. Imagine how regressive Vesalius' fixation on cutting things apart to finding their function must have looked. Even when he became a royal court physician, other learned physicians called him a barber. For everyone knew that only barbers and sawbones used blades. Until Victorian times, a doctor was a gentleman, and a surgeon wasn't. Testing a patient's urine was fine, but taking knives to one was simply below a proper doctor's station. Vesalius' dissection-bound atlas became an instant hit, though. It turned out that going into specific techniques of dissection, place a rope here and a pulley there, so that others could replicate it was exactly what was needed. The venerable signs and elements, on the other hand, not so much. Which did not save Vesalius from having to undertake an emergency trip to faraway lands for an obscure reason, dying in abject poverty on the way. He died before the first dedicated anatomical theatre was built in 1594, by which time anatomy finally meant what he made it mean. But that was then, and now is now. The year is 1902. And physiology is the latest scandal. Again, moral delinquents and their supporters are doing something loathsome. Vivisection. Again, they come up with excuses. It's all about finding out how things work, they say. Some kind of knowledge that makes them different from the uninitiated, we hear. And even if there was knowledge to be gained, could it really be trusted to such an immature and irresponsible crowd? So stuck to their not-so-innocent toys and narrowly focused views, they cannot even see the bigger, ethical picture. They cater to, and are occasionally catered by, truly objectionable characters. And they have the gall to shrug it off. They talk about education, but who in their right mind would let them near children? Too bad there isn't a general law against them yet, and the establishment is dragging their feet, or even has their own uses for them, no doubt disgusting. But the stride of social progress is catching up with them, and with luck, there soon will be. That was the year of high court drama. A pitched battle between people who believed to embody social progress against superstition on both sides. It saw rallies by socialists and riots by medical students, scientists and suffragettes, British lords and Swedish feminists, and a lot more, including his own commemorative handkerchief merchandise. It is immortalized in history as the Brown Dog Affair, one so dramatic that even the Wikipedia article about it makes for a good reading. Incidentally, the experiment involved led to the discovery of hormones. So, says the ghost of science past, but we bid him to haunt us no longer. There is another more cheerful spirit to occupy our attention. The spirit of the present. This is a more cheerful spirit, involving pets only as cute pictures thereof, and lots of them, much to the relief of those who think neither Schrödinger nor Pavlov would make good friends. But this spirit isn't left without attention from our moral betters. What about the children? What about the lowlifes and criminals whom we empower by our so-called knowledge? What about the bullies, the haters, the thieves, the spies, the despots, and even the terrorists? Would a good thing be called exploitation or ponage? This new reality is so scary to some people that their response goes straight to the nuclear. They call for a Manhattan Project. But what they really mean is nuke it from orbit. To some, it's even about evil techno-priests hijacking true social progress, or at least it sells their books. Nor is the spirit domain devoid of court drama, even in our enlightened times. Although looking where we fall on the scale between Vesalius and Lord Avelstone's Old Bailey, one begins to wonder where the light is going. No wonder the spirit of the hacking present looks somewhat frayed around the edges. Why wait for the spectre of the future to make an appearance? I say, neighbors, let's make like 1594 at the University of Padua. Back when a university used to have quite a different place in this game of ghosts. And have our own anatomical theatre. A theatre of literate disassembly. Just as Knuth described adventure with illiterate programming, we will weave together the disassembled code of a live subject with expert explanations of its deeper meaning. Of course, the best part might well be a one-liner, but we'll save the reader hours of effort. will weave a log and a transcript into an executable script that reproduces the cuts of a master surgeon, stroke by stroke. It is high time. We have been doing our dissections alone, with no one or few to watch and learn. Long enough. Let neighbors watch your disassembly, show them your technique, and let them get a good view and share the fun. As the good old yew of Padua preserved its theatre, so shall we. And then perhaps the spectre of the future will smile upon us.